If you've ever found yourself on the 7th hole, staring at your watch, wondering why your quick round of golf is about to stretch into its 5th hour, you're not alone. Slow play is one of the biggest frustrations in the game, and yet nobody ever seems to agree on why it happens. Most golfers blame bad players, others say it's the course, some blame the pros. But the truth? One of the biggest causes has nothing to do with your swing, the course, or even the player ahead of you. And once you see it, you'll never look at it around the same way. So, today we're breaking it down, the real reasons golf is slow, and the proven ways we can finally fix it. Let's start with the obvious. When most of us think slow play, we think of the player who takes forever to line up their shot, walks to their partner's ball instead of their own, or waits until it's their turn before even starting their pre-shot routine. These habits definitely add minutes, sometimes even hours to a round. But here's the thing. Even if every amateur suddenly became lightning fast, your average weekend round still wouldn't shrink by much. That's because bad habits are only part of the picture. Golf is a chain. If the group ahead of you gets delayed for any reason, traffic at the tee, someone searching for a ball, or even just a backed up hole ahead of them, you are going to be slow too. And this is where science comes in. Because sometimes slow play is baked into the system before you even hit your first drive. Imagine a highway where cars leave every 7 minutes instead of 10. At first, everything feels fine. But then, traffic starts to bunch up. Golf works exactly the same way. Many courses book tee times close together, often 8 minutes apart, sometimes less. On paper, that means more players and more revenue for the club, but on the ground, it's a recipe for a traffic jam. If the first few holes are short, say a drivable par 4 followed by a par 3, the bottleneck happens fast. The group ahead finishes the first hole, but by the time they tee off on the second, the next group is already waiting. From there, it's a chain reaction. Here's the interesting part. Studies in golf pace of play show that once a course is backed up, it rarely recovers without a break in play. That's why starting intervals matter so much. Add just 2 or 3 minutes between groups and you reduce the chance of an early pileup dramatically. It's not about playing faster, it's about preventing the traffic jam in the first place. But once you're stuck behind it, you can be the fastest golfer in the world and still crawl around the course. Golf course design is a double-edged sword. The right layout can make a round feel smooth and satisfying. The wrong layout can make you feel like you've aged 5 years before the back nine. Modern course architecture has a problem. Ambition. Many designers now focus on dramatic landscapes, signature holes, and scenic variety. That's great for aesthetics, but often terrible for pace. One of the biggest culprits? The walk between greens and tees. In older classic designs, the next tee was usually just a short stroll from the last green. Now, it's common to walk hundreds of yards, sometimes up a hill, sometimes across a water feature, before you even get to the next shot. Multiply that by 18 holes, and you've added 20 to 30 minutes of pure walking time to the round. Then there's the par 3 trap. On paper, par 3 courses should be faster, fewer long holes, less time searching for drivers. But if the layout forces long walks between tees, and every group still has to wait for the green to clear before teeing off, you can actually end up playing slower than a standard course. Ask any casual golfer if buggies speed up the game, and they'll say, of course they do. But here's where reality and science push back. Golf carts only make sense if the course has long, unwalkable distances between holes. In those cases, yes, you save time, but on most traditional layouts, especially when 2 players share a buggy, they can actually slow things down. Here's why. In a cart, you can't just walk straight to your ball while your partner goes to theirs. You have to stop, watch them play, then drive over to yours. That wait time adds up. Shot after shot, hole after hole. Walking golfers, by contrast, naturally split up. Each goes directly to their own ball, gets ready, and plays in turn. There's less downtime, less watching, more doing. This isn't just theory. Reebok Manor Golf Club ran a pace of play campaign showing that on some layouts, carts were costing groups up to 15 minutes per 9 holes compared to walking. Does that mean buggies are bad? No, but it does mean they're a tool for the right course, not an automatic speed boost. And if you're on a walkable track, your feet might just be faster than 4 wheels. If you've ever felt like a round is dragging but you can't figure out why, check the gaps between holes. Modern designs often spread holes far apart for safety, scenery, or variety. But those green to tee hikes add minutes you rarely think about. With courses having to get longer to combat the longer hitters nowadays, players often have to walk backwards to get to their starting tee. Let's say each walk is 100 yards longer than it needs to be. Over 18 holes, that's more than a mile of extra distance, roughly 20 minutes of walking at a moderate pace. And that's assuming you go straight there. Add in a bit of chatting, checking the scorecard, or taking a drink, and you're easily into half an hour of invisible time. The cruel part? That time feels slower because you're not actively playing. You're just walking. This is why many older, more compact courses feel quicker and more fun, even if your playing speed is the same. If amateurs have so many obvious inefficiencies, why do professional rounds also stretch for 5+ hours? The answer starts with pressure. On tour, every shot matters, and every mistake can cost thousands of dollars. That's why pros take extra time to plan. They'll wait for perfect conditions, check the wind twice, then confer with their caddy about club selection, yardage, and shot shape. And here's the other big shift. Technology has made pros hit further. That sounds like it should speed things up, but it often means more waiting, especially on short par 4s and reachable par 5s. If there's even a chance that they could drive the green or reach in 2, they'll stand around until it's clear. Course setup plays a role too. Tournament organizers often grow rough, longer, narrower fairways and put pins in tough spots. This forces more careful approaches and longer green reads. Speaking of green reads, caddies are part of the equation. They'll pace out yardages, double-check angles, and work through multiple putt lines. Some tours now allow rangefinders in certain events to speed this up, but tradition and habit are hard to break. In short, pros aren't slow because they're careless, they're slow because the combination of risk, reward, and setup pushes them toward caution over speed. Here's a psychological twist. Research on human time perception shows that we experience time differently depending on what we're doing. Waiting, especially in a social context where you could be acting but aren't, makes time feel longer than it actually is. In golf, this means standing still while others play can make a round feel more than 30% longer than one where you're constantly moving. This is why ready golf feels so much quicker. You're always engaged, either preparing or playing, so the minutes pass without you noticing. Slow play isn't just physically slow, it's mentally exhausting. The stop-start nature forces your brain to reset focus over and over again, which wears you down and makes the whole round feel sluggish. So, what can we actually do? The first step is adopting ready golf as a mindset. Walk to your own ball, plan your shot as you approach, and be prepared to hit when it's your turn. Second, rethink carts. If your course is walkable, consider skipping them. Or if you do use a buggy, drop one player off at their ball with a few clubs and then go to the other. Third, push for smarter tee time scheduling. Even just a few more minutes between groups can prevent early congestion. Fourth, keep pre-shot routines efficient. You don't need to eliminate them, just streamline. Aim, commit, swing. And finally, be proactive about pace. If you've lost a ball, wave the group behind through. If you're playing socially, agree beforehand to keep it moving. A faster round doesn't mean a rushed round. It means less dead time and more actual golf. Tour events face unique challenges, but there are ways to speed things up without hurting the game. Allowing rangefinders in more events would shave minutes off each hole, and forcing existing pace of play rules rather than giving warnings nobody takes seriously would help too. Caddy routines could be streamlined, and tee shots on short par 4s could use time limits for waiting on the green to clear. Even small adjustments at the tour level could set the tone for amateurs who imitate their heroes. Slow play isn't just bad manners, it's the result of dozens of tiny factors adding up. The good news is most of them can be fixed without rushing the game or losing what makes golf great. All it takes is a little awareness, a few smart changes, and a shared commitment to keep the game moving. So, what slows your rounds down the most? Drop your answer in the comments, and if you enjoyed breaking down the science of golf's slowest problem, hit like and subscribe, we've got more coming soon.